From Bobby S. Just when are you and Molly hitting the road again? Well, actually, as far as hitting the road, it should be within the next 2 weeks, depending on, how much trouble I have getting everything ready to go. From Michael K. How are you and Lucy doing health-wise? Well, like I say, this was from last fall. So, Michael, I'm not doing all that great, but I'm dealing with it. Lucy's doing real well. She has been diagnosed with heat intolerance, is what they call it. If it's over 70 degrees, she's miserable. From Mark M. How did you find Classy? Private person or a dealer? She came from a private owner. It says, what year is Classy? Classy is a 91. Fleetwood, Tioga. And you say, how long is she? 28 feet, question mark. The title says 26, I think. But the sticker on the door says 27. So I don't know. About that long. Up here, I'm going to put a link to an old tour of Classy video I did way back. And if you'd like to take a look at that, there's a lot of information about Classy. Glenn S. Could you maybe do a video on your camera equipment and pointers on how you set things up for double images, editing tips, etc.? I think this is a good suggestion. Watch for it. I will do this video. Gail from Antique Hippies on YouTube. How long have you and Lucy been RVing? And how do you go about setting up your budget for a trip? Lucy and I just started RVing, I believe it was August of 2015, so not even quite well, yeah, I guess it'd be about 3 years to the date. So I built a spreadsheet, and I just kind of massaged it and came up with something that worked for me. Right up here, I'll put a link to a video where I kind of explain that. It's probably kind of cryptic, but you might get an idea. How did you and Lucy meet? Yeah, buddy. I married the girl next door. I didn't know she was over there. I knew new people had moved in, but I hadn't seen anybody. And one morning I got up. Our living room there at home was in the back of the house. And I was standing looking out in the backyard through the window. And I noticed that these new neighbors, somebody had put up a clothesline tent, put a blanket over a clothesline, staked it down. So I thought, well, heck, they, looks like they got kids. And right about that time, here come Lucy backing out of there in some baby doll pajamas, with the little ruffled butt and all that. Oh, well, that got my attention. I was like, whoa, who's this? And within a week, she came over to our house. She needed to borrow a screwdriver so she could break in. She'd gotten herself locked out. She didn't want my help. She just wanted the screwdriver, but things kind of went from there. Do you have any plans for living on the road? Lucy and I'd love that. We can't afford to do that. We just can't. We can't really afford taking Classy, but we make it work. Howard, my old buddy Howard, my God, what can I say? Says, I live in Zephyr Hills, Florida. Do you think you guys will have time to get this way someday? I'd love to meet you personally. Howard, there's nothing that'd tickle me more than to meet up with you personally. I've got a desire to do an eastern half of the United States, very similar to the western half that Lucy and I did, the bucket list trip. And if so, about the closest that I'll be able to get to you would be, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. There's a place right off the Gulf, something River, or River something. Anyway, it's a place where the manatees gather, and I'd like to see that. So that's about as close to Tampa as we're going to get. Or, well, I say we, it'd be Molly and me apparently. So anyway, watch for it. If I can make that happen, believe me, I will. Chad and Laura, we've been thinking about loading up and taking an out west trip in an RV in a couple of years. And of course, we want to be cost conscious. So here's a couple questions. How often did you stay at campgrounds compared to boondocking on your trip? We probably stayed 80% of the time in campgrounds, and most of the other 20% we were at Walmart in the parking lot. Average daily driving time. I really didn't want to drive more than 2 or 3 hours a day, so that was about it. It kind of depended on what there was to see. And what is the number one tip you have or wish you'd known before a trip like the one on Route 66? That's a good question. It really is. Because, you know, when we headed out on Route 66, we only had 10 or 11 days of being in Classy when we took off. We didn't know a damn thing about this motorhome. We didn't know anything about motorhomes in general. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know anything. So about anything would have been a help. Let me rephrase your question for you. Let's talk about regrets on these trips. I'm next to a train track, can you tell? Give him a minute, he'll be gone. Okay. The biggest regret that I have on the 2 big trips that we've taken is I got in a hurry, and it was me. I got such a thrill out of taking those trips. I couldn't calm down. I mean, I couldn't calm down. I had to know what was around the next corner, what was over the next hill, what's in the next town. What does it look like down the road? What's there to see? I didn't take the time to enjoy where I was for wondering about where I wasn't. And if I had it to do over again, that bucket list trip would have been at least twice as long as it was in time. Maybe 3 times. We might. That trip should have taken a year. It really should have. And we did it in 80-some days. So anyhow, take your time, enjoy it. You never know which trip will be your last trip. And the last question from Rhonda B. Hi, Rhonda. Are you planning any trips soon? Well, we've kind of covered that. Have you thought about doing a live video? Yeah, I have. I just don't understand how to do it. I may make a more concentrated effort on figuring it out if enough people would be interested in doing something live. Have you ever considered the Patreon thing? Now, for those of you who don't know what the Patreon thing is, there is a page. It's kind of like GoFundMe. where, actually it's probably more like public TV, where YouTube creators can create an account, and then the subscribers of that person's channel can go to that account and pledge, I believe it's a monthly, they can pledge a certain amount of money every month into that account to offset the cost of doing videos and traveling and what have you. And a lot of people are doing that, and I looked at it. I decided I didn't want to do it. It's just not me. So anyway, question and answers. That's the end of it. Woohoo! I don't know how long this is. It's probably an hour-long video. I'll probably have to edit the snot out of it to trim it down to where I don't bore you completely to death. But you asked them, I answered them. I'm going to give this generator one more try on starting, and then I'm out of here. I'll be back with you with another video soon. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I've been so amazed at how long you folks sat around waiting for me to pull my head out of the sand and get moving again. And it means the world to me. It really does. But from Molly and me, until next time, happy trails.